if a third don't like it, a third are not bothered, and a third do like it, you're 2/3 of the way. So happy days. Oof. Obviously, big talking point this morning: goal line technology.
It's a red herring.
Absolutely,
the whole thing is a red herring.
I was with Bryan Robson 2 weeks ago, and he said to me, "How many times this season are we going to use that?" He said, "More than 10, Ronnie." I went, "No, not really, Brian." He said, "Less than 5." I said, "Yeah, probably." She said, "Why spend all that money? You got to go all the whole
Oh no!
the whole way.
Don't get me wrong.
Bother."
I don't mean it shouldn't happen, but it is happening. Everyone's saying we must get goal line technology. We are getting it. It's coming in July.
But the thing is, how many times are you going to use it, Mike, in the course of a season? That's what Bryan Robson was saying.
Once is enough. If it's the difference between being in an FA Cup final and not being in an FA Cup final, I think once is enough. If it's the difference between an equalising goal in a last 16 match at a World Cup, I think once is enough.
Yeah, but
it's got to come. There's no reason not to. You've got cameras at every game.
But
you've got TV at every game, which means you can have goal line technology.
That yesterday didn't need goal line technology.
That I
just
agree
needed a referee to sort of in the World Cup. Didn't need goal line technology. It was so far like.
But if we'd had it, we wouldn't be talking about it.
No, but it just needs decent officials who can make the right decision. Because the absolute howlers, I agree, as you know with the DRS system in cricket, that sorts the howlers out. But they're just the bog standard.
These are howlers.
No, they're just bog standard decisions that need making. What we're talking about here. Yesterday's wasn't.
They weren't made, so that makes them howlers.
No, we're not talking touch and go here. It was just horrendous. I mean, why on earth that was given a go yesterday? You know, you just cannot work it out.
Yeah, so if there was goal line technology, it wouldn't have been given.
Yeah, but that's what Bryan Robson's saying. You invest all the cash for one incident a season.
Yeah,
what
but
is the point?
It's not one. I wish it was just one incident, but it's not one incident, is it?
And
it's happening. If it's happened, I don't know how many times it's happened this season. It has happened several times.
Less than 5.
Yeah, so what? Less than 5 in this league. What about in France? What about in Germany? What about in every other European league? What about around the world? That's the point. It's a global game, Ronnie.
No. How many games, if you've got the goal line technology for Mike, and Bryan Robson was saying, you invest all that money into it, you know, you've got to go the whole hog just for goal line technology. It's not like ice hockey, Mike, where the puck is hitting the back of the net every 2 seconds, and that's where you need the goal line technology. It's not required for that. That yesterday was a simple decision that needed making. You're going to invest all this cash and money into it.
So I don't get your argument here,
Go the whole hog.
You're saying don't bother with goal line technology. Just make sure you don't make mistakes like you did yesterday.
No, Mike. The important thing is, likes of Ashley Young, that's where you need the technology. Not just for goal line.
You're wrong yet again. It's going to be a long morning, isn't it?
No, in your opinion, because I'm very highly strung about things like that. Ashley Young and the dive, that's where the referees need help.
He didn't dive because there was contact.
There was a little bit of contact.
There was contact, and with the incident against QPR, there were other issues going on.
So he didn't dive?
Actually, no, because there was contact. So he didn't dive because there was contact. There'd have to be no...
He didn't fling himself after that touch?
What he did was fling himself towards the player. I'm not saying it was a penalty because it wasn't. I'm just saying it was not a dive. I'm just trying to be correct about these things.
So what was it? So what did he do again? Just to explain.
He cheated by trying to. He threw himself at the player to make sure that there was contact.
In simple terms, throwing himself at the player for me is a dive. No?
Well, no, because that would involve him simulating falling over.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe we disagree on that one as well. We've disagreed on everything this morning.
I know. It's
Thank
not
God
going
you're going
well.
home.
Thank goodness that Alan Brazil is here to want to knock you into some kind of sense for the next 4 hours.
He's just told me he took a dive back there, so even he's wrong.
Well, I'd happily have that argument with him as well. What Ashley Young did was not right. That is absolutely what I'm saying. I'm just saying you should be careful about the way you say things. That's all, Ron. That's all. And if we had goal line technology, the goal wouldn't have been given yesterday. But we don't need it, apparently, according to you. So that's the next 4 hours of the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Who have you got coming on who might talk a little bit of sense? Because the presenters I'm not so sure about.
I don't know. We'll work it as we go along because sometimes they don't turn up on a Monday morning, so we have to be very careful when promoting. But Peter Beardsley apparently is going to come on. He didn't come on Friday, but apparently he's going to be on this morning around about 8:20. So maybe he can throw a little bit into it. We're going to talk Formula 1 as well with Sir Jackie Stewart. So can't wait for that. He's always good when he comes on. And Sam Allardyce, obviously West Ham's big 6-0 win over Brighton.
Beautiful.
Is that all right for you?
That sounds brilliant. I'm going to get on my way home on the train, get it on the old iPod, the iPhone app, get listening to Ronnie Irani. Right, until next week. Ronnie Irani and Alan Brazil here with the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. Notice how they call it the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast. From 6 until 10 o'clock.
God, he's been doing this 2 minutes and now he's giving us some, God.
Big chair, Ron. Big chair.
How horrible is this? God, I'll move on, Mike.
Keys and Gray back at 10 o'clock this morning. Don't forget, at 1 o'clock, we have the draw for the World Snooker Championships. You a snooker fan, Ron? He's off. He's out of the studio. He's gone. The draw for the World Snooker Championships happening on the show with H&J later on today. That's at 1 o'clock, but coming up next, it is the superb, the one and only Ronnie Irani and Alan Brazil, the Alan Brazil Sports Breakfast here on Talk Sport.